Hey guys, it's Fiona Edgar, Astrologer here, and I'm making this short video about the new moon in Cancer, which is actually happening today at 6:30 UK time. So depending on where you are in the world, it's going to be different. So if you're in the States, it's about 12 to any time from like 10 a.m. to about 1 p.m., I think. So this new moon is kind of challenging. Um, a lot of the astrology has been challenging, like this year, but we did expect that. The new moon is in Cancer, and what is a new moon? A new moon is when the sun and the moon are conjunct in the same sign. So we cast the chart at the exact moment of the conjunction, which you can see that I've done here. And a new moon is a time of new beginnings. It's a new cycle for the next couple of weeks. So this is just like a regular new moon. It's not an eclipse or a super moon or anything like that, but it still affects our lives for the next couple of weeks, or should I say reflects. The planets in the sky reflect our choices that we've made and don't actually control events that are going on. That's one of the biggest misconceptions about astrology. So we all have free will, we all make our choices collectively as well as individually. So the biggest player in this chart is Saturn. So as you can see here, Saturn is retrograde in Capricorn, and he is opposing this new moon in Cancer. Cancer is all about emotions, emotional security, intuition, feeling safe, nurturement. Nurturement, is that even a word? I'm not sure, but there you go. Um, Family, babies, kids, kind words, moodiness. Cancer is like the moodiest frigging sign of the whole zodiac. I know because I'm a Cancer and I'm moody. The reason why is because the moon changes so often. The moon changes every 2.5 days, it changes signs. And until it does that, it goes through a bunch of very fast aspects. So that's why Cancers are moody. Don't give us a hard time. Okay, so Saturn is pretty much it's exactly opposite this new moon. The new moon is at 28 degrees Cancer, as you can see here. Saturn in Capricorn is also at 28 degrees of Capricorn. So that's an exact opposition, which means that it's a very strong, powerful influence that we have here and that we're going to go through. Saturn is all about authority, restrictions, boundaries, um, fathers, people, managers, governments, everyone that kind of has authority over you as an individual or as a human in this world that we are on. So Saturn is putting the brakes on some kind of emotional security or stopping us from feeling emotionally secure. Why is that? Well, quite simply, it's because we have to grow up. Okay. As I predicted, this Saturn in Capricorn is kind of has brought about like a lot of these protesters and stuff in the States getting arrested. And you can't just go out and like burn your city down and topple statues and just expect to get away with it. So Saturn is coming along and saying, you need to grow the hell up. And just because you feel something on an emotional level doesn't mean that everyone else on the planet has to pander for your emotions. That's something that modern people need to realize. Is just because you feel something and it affects you emotionally doesn't mean that everyone else around you has to change their lives or their behavior just because you have a problem with it, okay? The world doesn't work like that. You are not the center of the frigging universe. So that's something that we all need to learn in a life area. The life area will be different in each person's chart. So you can check your own chart. Check to see where you have Cancer and Capricorn. It's on an axis because they're exactly opposite each other. So look at that and figure out the life area where you need to kind of grow up a little and just cultivate more discipline. Where are you ruled by your emotions? We all have a spot that's a trigger, or it's a soft, it's a tough spot, a hard spot. It's going to be triggered by this new moon. So the reason why is because you need to kind of try and cultivate better boundaries around this issue, whatever that is. We all need to strengthen our boundaries. Boundaries are great. They stop us from getting it tangled up into situations that aren't good for us. They stop our energy being vamped by others. I used to have really poor boundaries, like for many years, because I am a double water sign and I have a heavily aspected Neptune. And yeah, my boundaries weren't the best. I was too much of a giver. I let people take my time away from me when I should have been focusing on more important things. I let people in my life get away with things when I should have really called them out on it and dealt with it in a better way. So I'm not saying I'm perfect now, but I have much better boundaries than I used to have. And that's something that as a self-employed astrologer, I really needed to cultivate. So that's what's happening in my chart, is that it's actually got to do with my finances and money because it falls into my second house and my eighth house. So that's all about my money versus like other people, joint finances. So if this new moon is falling into your first house and say you have Saturn in your seventh house, that's going to be all about your identity versus what other people are expecting from you. So it's going to be different around for each sign and each person. So what can we do about this? Well, first of all, we can stop being a baby, grow up, realize that, like I said, that other people don't have to pander to your needs and your wants. On the other hand, maybe you're being too Saturnian, okay? Maybe you're the Saturn in this new moon story. So maybe you're being too strict on other people, too judgmental. Maybe your boundaries are too strong. Maybe you need to be more tactile, more loving. Say I love you more to your partner, do nice things. That's another possibility. So the exact opposition is occurring here with Saturn, but we can also see that Pluto is pretty close, and so is Jupiter. So as an astrologer, when I do astrology work, I personally would, it's the sign that makes the aspect, okay? It's not the orb. The orb determines how tight it is or how strong of an influence it's going to be. Maybe you do astrology different, that's fine, but this is the way that I do it. So opposite Pluto, this new moon is also bringing in power struggles. So there may be a little bit of a power struggle going on between you and another person. Maybe the other person is being too Saturnian and you want more love. Maybe it's you. Maybe you need to kind of, maybe you're in a battle at work with someone. Maybe you need to step up and just have better boundaries, tell that person where to go. Or maybe your boss is bullying you and you need to stand up to them, okay? Which you can do, because this year 2020 is when we were all taking back our power. It doesn't seem that way, does it? Because we're being told we have to wear face burqas if you want to go into a certain store and do this and do that. But we are learning how to stand up to these people. We're learning what it actually means when you relinquish your power away to someone else or to the government. That's a big danger zone, a huge danger zone. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be aware of how our actions affect other people, but when we give in to fear and we give up all of our rights as individuals and collectively, then we're in big trouble. And that's the kind of struggle that's happening this year. It's going to be ongoing, okay, because we have that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction at the end of the year. That's going to solidify everything that's happening this year. So this is going to be ongoing. What can you do as an individual? Don't run around like a headless turkey, giving away all of your rights just because someone is scaring you with certain stories. And this isn't about, is the virus real? Is it not real? Quite frankly, a lot of things are a danger to our lives every day. As a person with a compromised immune system, like severely compromised, yeah, I understand what it's like to be worried about viruses and people not washing their hands and, stuff like that. But do I expect everyone in the world to wear a mask because of me? No, I don't. So this is where we need to stop giving into fear, trying to maybe control other people a little bit too much. So this is the government, but it's also us on some level. Just try to give people a break and realize that they're human. If you, on the other hand, maybe you should be more caring towards your fellow humans. Realize that, do you know what? Whether this virus exists or not, as a person who cares about other people, I'm going to wash my hands more frequently because, quite frankly, that's what you should be doing anyway. It's hygiene. It's about having respect for others, and maybe their immune systems don't work quite as well as yours does. Okay, take a little bit of extra care. That's all that you need to do. You don't need to go home in a biohazard suit or anything like that, but make sure your hands are clean and you're not bringing outside germs into your home where someone else may be more vulnerable than you. So hopefully a lot of people around the world are learning that. It's not just you, you have to take a bit of care, but it's all about balance. This opposition here is about, okay, where is the halfway point? Find the halfway point and try and stick to it. Don't go from one extreme to the other. So power struggles, but also the potential for transformation here with Pluto. Pluto is the destroyer, the transformer, and he comes along and deconstructs stuff that isn't working. With Jupiter here as well, this is all magnified. So these three planets are conjunct, and they're making this opposition to the new moon even more potent. So what else have we got to look out for? First of all, we have Mars in Aries. Mars is going to be in Aries for a long time this year because we have the retrograde, the Mars retrograde in September to look forward to. So yeah, Mars conjunct Chiron in Aries, that is very ouchy. It's all about like sudden flare-ups of arguments, wounds, being triggered, violence, maybe on a global level, more violence over the next few weeks, uprisings. So on a personal level, it's kind of like, okay, these two planets here making a square to Mercury and Cancer. Mercury is communication, how you communicate, how you're thinking. The potential for arguments is high, okay, because these two are in square, which is a tough aspect, which means that Mars and Chiron are not getting along with Mercury at all. So what can we do about that? Try and rein your temper in a bit. Realize that not everything that someone does is to hurt you or to piss you off. Sometimes people just make mistakes. But also realize that sometimes you're sloppy and you hurt people because you do shit that without thinking and without recognizing that other people depend on you and other people trust you. So don't do any of those things. You are going to argue with someone regardless of what I tell you. But is it going to be a small thing or is it going to be a big thing? That's where your free will is coming in to play the most here between this square. So what's good about this chart? Okay, there's a nice sextile happening between Uranus and Mercury. So communication is being injected with something new. Maybe you have a conversation that really enlightens you. Maybe you have the ability to talk things over with your partner, with your family member, with your boss, whoever it is that's giving you the trouble. The universe is trying to say, look, if you just talked about it, if you just opened up your mind a little bit to see the other person's point of view, This wouldn't have to be such a big deal. So there's your solution there, is to talk it over, think things through. Don't use the internet to have important discussions. Don't message your partner on Facebook when you could have a much better conversation face to face, because stuff on the internet always gets it's so hard to really understand what someone is truly saying without seeing the expression on their face. At least it is for me. I'm a double water sign. I need to know, I need to feel the person's energy. I need to be able to see where their eyes are looking to really understand what they're saying, because most communication is nonverbal. So internet communication sucks. Try and avoid it. We've become so used to like shooting a quick message on Facebook, but when you speak to someone and look in their eyes, you're making that connection with them. You're remembering, oh, hang on, I actually really love this person. So try and talk it through. Open your mind. Be open to ideas and concepts that you maybe haven't considered before. With this Uranus, Uranus is the planet of change, of new solutions. Also like stuff happening quite out of the blue. You weren't expecting it, which is it's very clear in this chart. So there is a loose square happening as well between Venus and Gemini and Neptune and Pisces. Well, the retrograde that we just came out of, the Venus retrograde in Gemini, it sucked, okay? But you may just have a little issue come up that you thought that you'd put to bed over the Venus retrograde. Maybe that's what you're arguing about. This is your last chance to find a proper solution here instead of just blowing up and causing a lot of damage. So Venus and Neptune, it can be it is about rose tinted glasses in terms of your relationships, but sometimes it's okay if you're a married couple. As long as your partner isn't doing something illegal or that damages other people, it's okay to put them on a pedestal, It's okay to look at them and say, oh my God, you're so gorgeous. I forgive you. That's fine. That's good. We should all be trying to be a little bit more forgiving when other people aren't being hurt by whatever they're doing. So Venus and Neptune can also be about deception. So try to be above board over the next couple of weeks while these energies of this new moon are affecting us all. Don't get involved into any ridiculous crap that's going to affect your partnership. Tell the truth. Romance is something that's lacking in this chart, apart from this Venus Neptune square. Some romance can go a long way, especially when Cancer is involved, because Cancer people really appreciate all of those little things like flowers or, a note. So everyone should try and be a bit more Cancerian in a healthy way over the next few weeks. So what else is going on? Yeah, I just noticed that there is a bit of a loose square happening between Mars and Aries and then Jupiter and Capricorn. So that really is like something that just, happens very quickly. It could be terrorism, domestic terrorist attacks. Remember, I said this months ago. We're going to see an increase of that this year, especially as we move towards the election in November. So that's going to be another possibility. I hate to say that, but I'm all about being real. I have a Scorpio moon, so I'm not all about fluffy astrology or candy coating. I always believe in telling the truth about what I see. So possibly terrorism, some kind of violent stuff going on. But the main thing really is emotions, because Cancer is a kind of personal energy that we have. It's ruled by the moon. That's about our inner emotions, our instincts, intuition. Again, I will say that everyone needs to really try and develop their intuitive abilities more, so that we're not reliant upon like links on Facebook or the news or whoever that wants to tell you what to believe. You should know, whether just by looking at something, whether it's nonsense or not, by using your own intuition. We're all born with strong intuition, but over the years it just gets taken away from us, by our parents, school, whoever, and we learn to always look uh, externally for the answers rather than listen to our own inner voices. So we make it super easy then for the cabal or the globalists, the government, whoever, to control us and confuse us like a bunch of turkeys with our masks on, running around because we saw on the BBC News that some percentage of people have this or whatever. Listen to your own intuition. That's what this chart is saying. Listen to your intuition, be kind, but also have good boundaries. Stay away from any deception here because just stop doing that. Like, if you want to see the truth in the world, if you want to live with truth, if you want to have the ability to discern from the truth or a lie, you yourself must stop lying. And it's not just about lying to other people, it's about lying to yourself, deceiving yourself. So people that lie all the time become completely unable to see any form of truth in the world around them, and they become the biggest mugs ever. But really it's their own fault. So there is, yes, Mars conjunct Chiron is super hard. It's horrible. But we have to remember that Chiron does bring healing. Chiron was a master healer. It wasn't just all about his wounds. Yes, he was wounded, but you know what he did? He got on with it. He didn't wail and cry in the street and, shout Orange Man bad and, blame everyone else for their issues. He got on with it. He was an astrologer. He was a master healer. He still continues to inspire everyone today that identifies with the ancient knowledge and wisdom that is so repressed by our society. So what can you do? What are some tools that you can use to get you through this next couple of weeks? Astrology, music, herbal medicine, healing animals, healing people. And by healing, I don't mean going out into the street, and shouting with like a pink hat on. I mean, be kind. Offer someone your help. Offer that old lady down the street who hasn't been outdoors for like the last 3 months. Go and see if she's okay. That kind of thing. Older people, the children and babies and animals are all so forgotten about because we have all of these like 20-something millennials shouting in the street about their rights. And yeah, that's, okay, but what about the older people that don't have a voice? Because our society discards them and makes out that they are the problem instead of respecting them for their wisdom and their life experience that we don't have yet. So what about that? Animals, well, I remember back in the 90s, people used to be protesting about animal, like vivisection, all of that disgusting stuff that goes into testing on animals, for cosmetics and stupid stuff. Now, no one ever mentions it. What happened to that? Like, are animals not a part of this planet as well? Should we not help them? Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. It's not a super duper whopping eclipse on steroids. It's a new moon, but it is a challenging one nonetheless. So plan some stuff to do over the next few weeks. Try to keep your cool, and I'll be back soon with another video. Don't forget that you can tune in on this weekend. I will actually be making my regular podcast with Craig from Radiant Creators. So probably Friday or Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm going to be joining Michael and David on Unslaved. So really excited about that one. So make sure you tune in. And I'll be back soon. Take care, guys. Bye.